That's been my curse.
Mm.
All right, get ready. Gotta play our introductory song. I ain't gotta tell you to relax.
Did you get a chance to watch any of our pods?
I haven't, and I was just talking to Mike about that too, because every time you guys record, I'm literally walking right into that building, and then I it slips my mind to go back and look at it, and I meant to look at some this week.
Well, you still got a chance.
Yeah, YouTube.
They're on YouTube.
Okay,
good.
Yeah. We good?
Yep.
Hello, podcast world. Welcome back to us.
Oh, yeah, we had a little break.
Yeah, we took a week off, and now we starting season 2, episode 1. We, as always, have a special guest for you today.
Yes, we do.
And Taylor, we're going to read your bio, and then we'll jump into it.
Okay.
All right, we do have somebody special on today. Her name is Taylor Samantha Dill-Reese. She was born January 19th, 1993 in Detroit, Michigan. She attended all Ferndale public schools and was very active. I can tell you that. She had attended Wayne State University, and she started out in pre-med. But after a year and a half later, Taylor took her skills to the next level. She eventually worked at the Maximum Tax Service, and now she owns her own business, which she started in March of 2016. After operating her business part-time for almost 2 years, she became a full-time entrepreneur in the end of 2017. She graduated in May of 2018 from Wayne State University with a bachelor's in sociology. Currently her company services over 70 clients per month. She started this business with the intent to just clean for people, but her passion and purpose has grown beyond that. She is transforming lives, helping people live cleaner, feel cleaner, and allowing them to worry less about one thing in their life. She has been a listening ear to a venting heart and encouraging to the weary, a restorer to the damaged. She is truly walking in her purpose and drawing people closer to God in the process. All right. And she is not done yet. She also plans to go back and get her MSW so that she can help children in need of mental resources. All right. Amen, Taylor. Go ahead. Power.
Welcome, Taylor.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. You know, I told you when we started this podcast, you were one of the people we had on our list early on to be on here. We just was able to get around to working you in because you've been busy.
Yes.
Busy, extremely busy. As soon as they opened up the world, they're like, hello, we miss you.
That's a good thing.
It is a great thing.
Right. So let's get into you didn't do HBCU, but you did attend public schools. So we like to stress that most of our guests, 95% of them
has been thus far
public school students. And the reason why we stress that, just so you know, is that public school, especially African Americans people, get a bad rap as they don't teach you, they don't know anything, then they don't do anything. But we found that our public school folks and then our HBU folks as well are doing great things out here in the world.
Yes.
Wonderful things. And that's why we wanted to have you on here, because I know I'm going to jump around a little bit, but during this pandemic, you had took to the internet and you were doing an inspirational piece every day, weren't you?
I was doing every day.
How did that come about?
So when I did my vision board this year, one of the things that I had on there was getting closer to God. Now I've grown up in the church, started at Hope United Methodist Church thing. I met you guys at New Prospect, which I'm currently a member of. Although I was in the church, I feel like my spirituality needed growth. And so this year I decided to become, do things that would get me closer to God. And I felt like I could bring some people with me in the process. So that is why I started doing the inspirational posts. Plus, I just saw so many people that were down. And then, this is a weird time right now, something that a lot of us have never experienced, if not all of us. And so I just felt like it was needed. It was something that was needed. And so that's really why I started it, to help me help somebody else.
Right.
Good job too. I've listened to several of them, and I know Damon was faithful in listening to him every day.
Yes.
He let me know you was on, and I would be listening in the other room, being busy. But I'm telling you, you were a blessing to me as well.
Well, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Because one thing that I noticed, and I talk a lot about this to folks, is that during this pandemic, although it's been the worst of times, it's also been the best of times
Yes.
for people who have a creative spirit.
Yeah.
And so it allows, and well, that's why we're doing this podcast. and the music that I play on the radio, on the internet 3 times a week, at one time 7 days a week. But it gives us an opportunity to grow and stretch out. And so I'm glad you were doing that, because I know there were several folks who probably what you said to them was the only inspiration they got in a given day.
Yeah. And I had stopped for a little while because I had got really busy with work and I couldn't be consistent with it. And a lot of people were like, hey, where are your inspirations? We're missing them. And I'm like, oh, you noticed me? Because I wasn't even trying to be noticed. You actually missed it. I'm like, well, let me get back, because that's God telling me I need to get back in it. So I'm like, well, let me get back in it, because I'm slipping. The devil is intervening and I can't allow that. So I got off track a little bit, but it'll be coming again soon, hopefully this week.
All right. That's right. We miss you. We need Jesus every day. A little bit more of Jesus.
That's right. And you give a few minutes, a few minutes to inspire and uplift, and everybody needs that.
Yeah.
And you, like you said, like you discovered, you had an audience that was there every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that made me say, okay, we need to talk to you about some stuff. And then I've been following you on Facebook, and I see that you're doing a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, first let's mother of 2, right? And you raised them on your own.
I did.
Wow.
I am.
Wow, that's wonderful. And at the same time, a business. What made you start your business?
So I was doing taxes at the time, and I had a lot of clients that were self-employed. And so I'm like, I want to start a business, but I didn't have that much money at the time. And so I was trying to think of something that I knew how to do well, that could help people, that also didn't require that much overhead, upfront overhead. So I'm like, well, I could start a cleaning business. At the time, I was cleaning the office that I worked at anyways. And I'm like, I could start a business. I'm like, a cleaning business. I looked into how much it would cost to get the materials and, play with a few products and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm going to just start this. And so I got my logo and business cards, and I went to social media and I started posting it there. Some community forums, I started posting it in there, and I still have clients that I had when I started. I still service probably about half of those clients. The economy is up and down, so people's finances are up and down. And then some people, decided they didn't need it, because, cleaning is, although it's essential, it's still that's like a privilege. It's like,
right.
So obviously on the list of bills to pay, cleaning is going to be the first one to go. So, but most of my clients that I started with are still my clients to this day. And all I did was go on social media. Really, I got business cards, but I still find business cards that I purchased when I first purchased business cards. So I really don't use them for real, unless I'm out and about, but really it's social media.
Right. Social media is a wonderful thing.
It is. Look at God.
Right. So if you can divulge, who was your first client?
My first client was my god sister, actually. Her name is Malika. I'm pretty sure she was my first client. She's honestly the biggest supporter in my family, especially with us young people, because her niece has a business. Her daughter has a business. My other cousin has a business. So she's always the first one to start or to support us. And then she spreads the word. And
all right.
And so because of that, you don't need business cards.
I don't have them now because every business owner should have some business cards,
Yes.
but I don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So,
Wow.
oh, you about to say something?
No.
Okay. So you're doing the business, and so as a single mother, how hard was that? Is that?
It's very difficult. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Because at the end of my daughter's daycare got shut down 2 weeks ago because someone caught COVID, and we were scared because now we all got to get tested for COVID because we don't know if she was, directly
Involved.
in person or whatever. But I had to close down until we got our results back, and we actually ended up getting sick afterwards. All of us. It wasn't COVID, but some respiratory virus is going on. We all got sick, so I ended up having to be shut down anyways because we all were sick. And trying to juggle, like if daycare gets shut down, I have to find somebody to watch my kids, because especially now, before when they were younger, they would come to work with me before COVID.
Right.
Now Bella's 2 is so busy and she can't come to work with me. Like I'm cleaning everything. But when she was a baby though, when I first had her, up until she was about 9 months, she went to work with me every day. I actually didn't even get a maternity leave. I got back out in the field 4 days postpartum. And people were looking at me like, ma'am, go sit down somewhere. Like, what are you? I wasn't working physically. I did have my employees working, but because I was nervous, I went with them and I just supervised with Bella on my hip. I have some pictures with her in a sling and I'm vacuuming. But I did start working 2 weeks postpartum. I started getting back out and working because I was paying out all this money to employees and I still have this adding up. Like, just because I'm on maternity leave don't mean the bills stop. So
That's right.
I had to start back working.
Right. You are a woman, hear me roar.
Man. And Bella was right there. I have pictures of her in her little chair that I used to put on countertops, and she would sit in the chair and at 1 month old while I'm cleaning. And my clients loved her. The clients that didn't accept that philosophy or whatever the case may be, I just said, okay, well, I don't have another choice. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go as a client. I think I only had like 1 or 2 for real. Most of my clients, they love Bella. Like she grew up with them. They still ask me about her now. Like, how is Bella doing? So
wow.
Yeah.
So how many employees do you have?
Right now I have 5.
Okay. Because I know you were talking. You were having some issues getting some reliable people, I think.
I was, and then Micah came back to work. Shout to Micah because I love her. Then I had a few people, a few of my friends and my cousin that were like, "Hey, it's a holiday time. Can we get some extra holiday pay? Can we come and work on the weekends or in the evenings?" And I'm like, of course you guys can. So now my business is mostly operational without me. Me and Micah do go during the day, and we work together during the day. I'm so glad Micah's back. I can't even stress that enough. Okay, that is my girl. I'm so glad she is back.
All right. So she a great help, huh?
She is a great help, a blessing. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I know.
We know about blessings. That's for sure.
And I know she'll be glad to hear you falling over her name, shouting it out to the rooftops. I know she'll love that. So you made me lose my train of thought. So on your bio, you said that do you have that many now? 70?
I do. They're service monthly. Between some are weekly, some are bi-weekly, some are every 3 weeks, and then I have a few that are once a month. But yeah, it's busy.
That's busy because there's only 30 days in a month, 31 if you're lucky.
Yeah, we service anywhere from 2 to 4 people in a day, sometimes 5. It depends on the clients and what the condition of their homes. Like if it's some of my regular clients where the cleaning won't take more than like an hour or 2, then I fit 5 clients in a day. But yeah, we service anywhere between 2 to 5 clients a day.
All right.
That's wonderful.
Sure is.
Yep.
Right, because because I was looking at this wrong. Because you say some of them you do more than once a month.
Yep. Most of them actually.
Right.
I serve bi-weekly. Most of my clients are on a bi-weekly basis. And we work Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
I try to have Mondays off though, but I do have a salon that we clean on Monday. So I do try to take Mondays off because I need a day for myself. But without the kids, because I can schedule the weekend, I need a day where I could just think. So Monday's the day.
All right. All right. So now we're gonna take a little walk back through your bio.
Okay.
So you say in here that you well, I'm gonna go way back because I thought this was interesting. You joined the Ferndale Eagles marching band.
It my first year, and I can't remember if I was in there. I want to say I was in there 3 years. I did the pit my first year, and I did color guard either 1 or 2 years after that. I had my son when I was in high school, so I know after I had him, I stopped. But my brother was in it, so I was still going to the competitions and stuff and supporting them. But yeah, I was in marching band.
Right.
With band camp.
I see you were in the choir.
I was in the choir.
Yeah.
I was in the 7th grade up until 12th grade. I left Ferndale for a year after I had my son, and then I got back in it my senior year.
All right.
He used to come to practice with me, and everybody used to love, hey DJ, like used to be at all the little functions. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I met you when you joined when you were in the choir with Bella.
Yeah. Got a kid, can't get rid of them.
I know. So yeah, that's how it is. Our kids grew up with us bowling and everything else too.
Right. So we know how that goes. And you, like I said, you doing it yourself. So that's so. And so then I'm just going to touch on something. You ran track.
I only did that for a season though. I couldn't keep up with. I have a heart murmur, so I couldn't keep up with the speed. I mean, I could if I really pushed myself, but at the time I didn't have anybody that was pushing me, so I just was like, okay, well, I could just quit.
Yeah, we ran track too.
Right. So I know how hard it is when you run in track. If you by yourself trying to do it.
Just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I ran track, but I spent all my time playing basketball with my friends. So right, I understand that. Okay, so you did that. You had to leave school for a minute, and you went to
an alternative school.
Alternative school, right? And at a grade 11, but you came back and graduated with your class at Ferndale. In the top 25%. Right.
Had to get those A's and B's.
Right. You sound like somebody that's not gonna be denied.
Not at all. I had a lot of people telling me I wasn't gonna graduate. I had to prove them wrong.
That's right. Naysayers. That's right.
Right. And I'm going over this stuff because I want folks to see that no matter what obstacles you have, you can do what you want to do.
You can.
If you really want to do it. So too many times we make excuses for things that go on in our life and say, oh, I can't do this no more, I gotta stop, and that ain't the real deal.
Yeah, I know. You had your son, you were taking on different jobs, your business was in part-time. That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Actually, between graduating from high school, I think I was maybe 20, I want to say. I had a season of homelessness. My grandmother actually ended up taking me in before she passed. And that's actually around the time when I started coming to New Prospect. But I did have a season of homelessness. I actually almost lost custody of my son because of some lies that were told. But she wasn't going to allow that to happen. So she took me in, and me and my son, and made sure that when CPS came, everything was together, and I passed. So it was only like a few days where his dad had custody and or temporary custody, and then I got him back. And from that point on, I always worked maybe like 3 or 4 jobs after that because I didn't have a job at the time. I quit working at Hope. Going to church and then dealing with administration in a church, it completely changes your perspective on church.
Yeah.
Like, because I was working in administration at Hope, and they were in the process of getting a new pastor, and it was just leadership was changing. The admin was changing, and it was really, for a 19-year-old girl, it was really, really stressful, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I resigned. I'm like, I can't, it's either my life and my sanity or it's this church. And I'm telling you, I got a son, I got to choose my sanity over it. So I resigned, but I resigned before I found another job. And so it was really hard to find a job at the time. It was around Mother's Day. So I started making Mother's Day cards. I don't know how I got that idea, but I was selling Mother's Day cards. Like, I just need a few dollars. Like,
yeah, see, if you take one step, the Lord will take the second one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but my grandmother helped me get back on my feet. God rest her soul.
Yes.
It brought me to the church, and yeah, so life changed after that.
All right.
For the better.
All right. Well, you know what we always say is that God will close a door because He got a better door open for you. And if we just faithful enough to walk through the open door and away from the door He about to close, then it'll be all right. And you say you don't know where it came from. Well, inspiration comes from the Holy Spirit.
It does.
That's where inspiration comes from. And the fact that you listened to it and you made Mother's Day cards, and it worked for you.
It worked for me for that week. I think I made like $200 or something that week, which wasn't bad for
that was good.
Right.
So,
well, you know, if we can make it for a week, I always say if you can make it for a day, then you can make it for a week. And if you make it for a week, you can do a month, and then just keep moving, and you'll be all right. And so, so I want to see, was that making the Mother's Day cards, is that what started the entrepreneurial spark?
I don't know. I honestly, so people have the misconception of entrepreneurship. They feel like entrepreneurship is being your own boss. I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to be my own boss. I don't want to listen to anybody, but they fail to realize that being an entrepreneur, especially depending on the field you're going into, you have several bosses at that point.
Yes.
As a cleaner, I have several bosses that tell me what they want in their homes. They want this way, this way. And if it's not this way, you need to fix it so it's this way. So it's a lot more in depth than people think, because it's so many entrepreneurs that are glorifying entrepreneurship, and they're not showing people the hardships. They're not showing people the sweat, the tears, the blood. They're not showing people the off weeks when you don't make any money. Like 2 weeks ago when I didn't work, I didn't have any income coming in for that week. So I missed out on over $1,000 that week. Like, people don't show that though. They're not showing you that. So people get into entrepreneurship thinking that, it's going to be easy. And that's what I did actually originally. I thought it was going to be easy. Oh, I could do this. Like, I've always been a boss. I can be my own boss. I can figure it out.
Right.
But I really think that I always had that entrepreneur spirit. I always had a leadership spirit like that. It has to come within. Like, you can't just say you're a leader. You have to show it. You have to act like it.
Right.
So I think I've been working since I was 14. I always had a hustling leadership entrepreneur mindset. So I think that's kind of what carried me through to entrepreneurship.
Right. Yeah. What folks don't realize is that when you got your own business, it ain't a 9 to 5.
It's not. And it's so much to juggle, especially you hire employees. Now you got to do payroll. You got to figure out, are you going to pay them under the table? You doing 1099s, W-2s.
So what are you doing?
We don't want to know. We don't want to know. You don't want to know. You making it work. So your time in doing the membership stuff at Hope United Methodist. Did that help you with your ability to do payroll and that sort of thing?
So working at Hope definitely helped me with my computer skills. I was always brilliant when it came to the computer. My mom taught a computer camp during the summers.
Okay.
And so she's a teacher. So she taught me and my brother a lot about computers. So I always knew the basics for Microsoft Excel, all of those things. But I do think that working in membership helped me with those skills a little bit better. But honestly, I have been doing it prior to working for doing the membership. I was still working in Hope. I was working in the tape room, and I still had to do certain stuff like order inventory and spreadsheets and those things. So yes, the skills advanced, but I still was learning when I was young, when I was 14. My boss, actually, I love her, Zelma Smith Dexter. She's head of communications there. She trained me up to be the person that I am now, from how fast I walk to how I pay attention to people, to how I talk to people.
Good skills to know.
It was very great skills, and I do appreciate her because there's so many people in that are millennials that don't have communication skills and that don't have customer service skills. And I learned it at such a young age. So it's frustrating to see it because I really just want to teach a customer service class now because it's so essential. It's so essential.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And you probably
gotta
will.
be nice.
And you probably will teach one.
I keep saying it. You can ask Micah. I've been saying it. I just need to teach customer service and driving. That's
driving. I don't know. It's a lot of folks that lost causes behind the wheel. But yeah, because what I find good is that even at a young age, you soaked up all the wisdom that was being put into you, and now it's coming out. The fruits of what she did for you is showing, is helping you, and then you got a willingness to want to pay it back. And so let's jump over to that part of it, because I know you talk about how you want to support Black businesses, small businesses, and so how is that going?
I've been supporting small businesses, mainly Black small businesses. I honestly have a lot of friends that are in entrepreneurship. I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs.
Birds of a feather.
Yeah. So I support them in any way that I can, whether it be from reposting something that they post, or actually physically donating to their business or purchasing something from their business. So I try to support, I supported a lot of small businesses these last 2.5 weeks. My cousin has a sweatshirt line called Paradigm. I supported her. I supported the Lip Bar. I supported, I shouted out my friend Tiara. She has a graphic design company. My friend Tarana has a travel company. I can't even, I bought a Bible study through, I can't even think of the name of that company, but it's another small business, and I believe it's Black owned. That's another way of me growing closer to God. So it's a 365-day breakdown of the Bible. So it helps you go through the different chapters of the Bible and different books of the Bible. And I wanted to do that because I've never read the Bible all the way through. In the parts that I read, sometimes I don't understand it. So
most folks, that's how most folks.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
So
the pandemic has pushed me forward too. I'm constantly. As soon as I wake up, I think the Lord waking me up to read. So I go in there and I'll be in there 2 or 3 hours waiting for the prayer conference to come on. I look up, it's time. My phone go off. I say, oh, it's the prayer conference.
It's I mean, if nothing else has happened during this pandemic, it's given us time.
It definitely given us time.
And if we can drag ourselves away from the television long enough to use that time productively, then we'll be all right. I actually went back to school.
You think what?
Huh?
For what?
Well, eventually I'm gonna wind up being a urban ministry, I believe. I got still haven't certain. I'll get my
What does that
associate.
mean?
That means that we'll look at God's word through how it uh, affects urban settings.
Okay.
Because mostly scripture is not necessarily in and of itself presented in a way that is for any one particular area. And so
That's
just like you did get that 365-day thing, you can tailor scripture certain tailor.
Yeah, I know. No pun intended.
No pun intended. You can tailor what you teach and what you learn so that it has a slant that you can pick out how it affects certain areas and certain people.
relate to it.
Right. Right.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It needs to be relatable. I agree though.
Yeah. Because that's what I deal with urban folks.
Okay.
99.999% of the time.
Well, that's needed. So that's a good thing.
So you do apartments too?
I do all houses. I do apartments. I do townhouses, condos.
So you do the blinds, you do vacuuming,
I
do you
I do
clean?
blinds.
Okay.
I don't. So blinds won't be something that's done every single cleaning.
Right.
No, I'm just saying, just helping me dust because I'm like, oh my goodness.
I do blinds. Yes.
Yeah. Give her your business card.
Yeah, because this one right here, he like being served.
Right. Okay, so now let me see okay, we good. I want to make sure we get all this stuff in. So now one thing that you did, and I want you got a what do you call them? The house.
Oh, a house off the land bank.
Off the land bank.
Mm-hmm.
So share that experience with us.
So I started this process with the hopes and anticipation that I would be creating generational wealth for my children. That's why I bought this house. In my mind, getting a mortgage, I'm still in debt to somebody. It's like paying rent until you're done paying. But, mortgages can go anywhere from 15 years to 30 years. And I just wanted something that I could pass down to my kids at any moment. Okay. If I die tomorrow, the house is theirs. Like that's what I wanted. So I bought the house. I bought it for about $1,800. So the houses need lots of work, which I assumed it would need a lot of work. I had about 10 grand saved up and I took out another loan through my credit union. And now I'm at a standstill because I didn't know that the water line for the house was cut and that the house was on the demolition list. So I called the city to get the water turned on. And they told me, oh, we can't turn the water on because the line is cut and we can't reconnect to that line because it's a lead pipe. So you have to replace the pipe from your house where the meter was to the stop box. So basically I have to dig up my front yard and replace that pipe. I got overwhelmed and frustrated and trying to find somebody to do that job. It took me almost a month to find somebody that would come out, give me an estimate, a written estimate, because I had to send it to the land bank because now they're going to have to reimburse me because I didn't know that the water line was cut.
Right.
And so it took a month to get somebody out. And I was in crunch time because the state has a thaw law where at a certain time you can't dig.
Right. So
I had to get it done before that time. Otherwise, I would have to wait till the spring to get that line replaced. So I got it done, $3,000 down the drain. I called the city like, hey, I replaced the line you told me I need to replace. And my stop box is actually leaking. So can you come out and replace this and turn my water on? Right. They're like, oh no, we need you to replace also from the stop box to the street, to the main water line. What? I said, why do I need to replace that? They're like, because, and I'm glad this is going live because I want people to know what the city is doing. They're like, because that's lead. those pipes are lead pipes. Any house that was built in the 1920s or whatever, they all have lead water pipes from the city.
Right.
I said, so why is that my responsibility? Y'all put these lead pipes down here.
Right.
Why do I have to replace that? So you mean to tell me I got to dig up the city street, and replace the water line that y'all are responsible for?
Wow.
And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I know y'all not going knocking on people's doors telling them they got to replace that. So why do I have to replace it? Because people can barely afford to pay their taxes. I know they ain't got the money to pay to dig up this water line. And they're like, well, the state has a 10-year program where we'll be replacing all of the main water, what did they call it? Water, what is it? The water system? I don't know. Whatever they are, they're going to be replacing it all within a 10-year time span. And I'm like, 10 years? I'm like, a lot of stuff can happen in 10 years. I said, so are you pumping lead in people's water? And they're like, oh, well, no, there's something to filter it out.
Where?
So if there's something to filter it out, then why can't you reconnect my pipe to this meter?
Right. Right.
Ain't nothing filtering it out.
No.
Y'all pumping lead through people's water. It's no way you can filter. How you gonna filter out lead?
Oh, you need to call one of these channels.
I am, because I'm not paying for that. I already paid $3,000 that I wasn't expecting to pay.
Right.
I'm not paying for that to dig up the street.
And that's their responsibility.
It is. There anything past the sidewalk is the city's responsibility.
Right.
But they're saying because the house was on the demolition list and because the water line was cut,
then they shouldn't have sold it.
That's my thing. And so they're like, the land bank is doing illegal things, and they have some systems that's going on right now where they're selling houses that have been on the demolition list and that should have been demoed, and
the love of money
and getting money. Yep.
I'm sorry.
We opened up this story. I know.
It's confusing because I'm like, the land bank isn't part of the city.
Right. They're agent of the city.
I thought it was part of. Listen, I thought it was part of the city. They told me, I thought the water department was part of the city. They told me I had to get a permit to pull that water line. So I went, to building and safety and got the permit. And I called the water department. They're like, well, we don't see a permit. I said, well, I have it right here. And they're like, well, you have to get a permit through us.
My goodness.
I'm like, what?
This is a nightmare, Taylor. Stop.
So that's how I feel. So I have every day probably have cried at least one time about this house. I'm like going back and forth. Like, did I make a bad decision? Like, I could have just got a mortgage. My credit score was 715 when I got this loan to pay for this house. I'm like, I could have just got a mortgage. Like, and I think about it all the time because I've put $30,000 in this house and you can't even tell. The house is still gutted.
Wow.
And I'm like, that could have been $30,000 that was to a brand new house. Like, I really could have got a mortgage, but I was trying to create wealth. But the problem with that is that the systems are so corrupt. And they don't want to see you get ahead. So they create all these roadblocks. Like, I have to get permits for every part of that house. Each permit is anywhere from $50
You ain't gotta tell me. You ain't gotta
every
tell
part
me.
of the house. HVAC, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, which is part of HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. Why do I need I don't know, roof? Every part I have to get a different permit.
Wow.
And on top of it, I had to get a preliminary permit, which is $295.
It's been a learning experience.
It has been a horrible learning experience.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't recommend it. And I knew it was gonna be some money, but I didn't realize that I was gonna go through 30 grand. Like, I'm not Daddy Warbucks. I don't got just money sitting around. Like, I still have to pay rent to where I'm at. I was expecting to be in that house for Christmas, and we're not going to be in it probably till the summertime if we get in it. Because at this point, if they're not turning on the water, my contractors can't do nothing in the house. They need water. So I don't know.
Wow.
One of my clients yesterday told me I just need to go to fire somebody and see if somebody will take my case and sue the city. Because at this point,
Yes.
I'm a single mother. I got 2 kids. I got a business to run. I'm trying to create money and help families, and I can't even help myself because I'm draining my resources to a house that I can't even live in.
Right. And that information needs to be out, at least, if at the very least, if there's nothing, no legal recourse you have, at least folks need to know that they selling houses, that then they coming on the backside and not letting you do the work that needs to be done. Because isn't there a certain amount of time you're supposed to have the work done?
You're supposed to have it done in 6 months.
Yeah.
I bought the house in August.
And they give you, and they, right.
Said the guy, Willie Moore, who's in charge of the land bank, he's, I guess, the head director or something. He told me, give me a week. I'm gonna look into it and see, what we can do, because we've been having a lot of these issues. What?
Have you heard back from him?
No, that was the other day. So I'm waiting.
Okay.
I'm gonna call him back in a week, because I have his number saved in my phone. So I'm gonna call him back in a few days. I think I called him Wednesday. So I'm gonna call him back on Wednesday to see what the deal is, because I have a hole in front of my yard right now that's caution taped off because they can't close the hole. The stop box is leaking. So they can't close the hole. Plus, if they close the hole and the city comes back to dig it out, they cannot hit the new pipe that they put in there.
Right.
But now it's leaking. So the water's probably frozen down there right now, because it's been leaking for a week and a half. And I asked her yesterday, I said, I hope you don't think that I'm going to be responsible for this leak, because I called you guys 2 weeks ago to tell you that this was leaking.
Right.
I said, I'm not paying it. So you better not put it on my bill, because I'm not paying it. I told y'all to come out here and fix this.
Mm. Try to help.
Man.
Because, like you said, you could have left that house with the land bank and went on and did something else.
It right there and got me a nice house in the suburbs. Trying to do right in the city. It's got so much land next to it. I'm like, I'm gonna build a community garden, and no, ma'am, no, I can't even get in the house to build a garden.
Well, we're gonna take it to the Lord, and we're gonna let Him work with them outsiders that's trying to stop you. The devil is busy, but God is what? Busier.
He is.
And like you said, that pain and suffering, it only made you stronger, though. So head up to Jeffrey Fire and everybody else who you need to hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what I want to do is try to lighten it up a little bit, because wow.
I know,
trust
that was
me,
scary.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I'm not going through your pain, but I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And so the show is called Things My Mother Never Told Me.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you got an answer for this. So is there something that you discovered that your mother didn't prepare you for, didn't tell you about?
Honestly, I really have 2 things. I'm sorry. The first thing is save more than you spend. If my mom would have told me that and really instilled that in me, I feel like a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened. And credit is important. I feel like in the Black community, credit is not talked about, mainly because people are uneducated about it. I didn't learn about it until I was 21, which still is young, because some people don't learn about it until
and some never learn.
51.
So I was blessed to learn it at that age, but I wish I would have learned it when I was in like high school or something, and could have been building my credit as I was in high school. So really, those are my like 2 top things. Like, really be educated. Credit is important. Really be educated about it. Don't take out all them student loans that you don't need. Because I feel like that's also another bad thing. Not bad thing, but like,
it is if you're not going to use it for its purposes.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of African Americans, when they go to college, they take out a lot of loans they shouldn't, and then they end up with a lot of debt they can't get rid of.
Right. Well, some folks, I know when I was in school 100,000 years ago, people would even with their financial aid, they would take out they would get more than they know they needed, so they would have extra cash.
That's what I did. Yeah. Unfortunately, and now I got to pay that back.
Right.
So I wish I would have known better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's but then, that's the killer though, because I know for your generation, when you guys, because I know when I was in college, we didn't get applications for credit cards.
Mm.
Now it's a standard part of college for you to get applications for credit cards that you
Yep.
can afford.
I mean, and it's okay to get a credit card, but don't use it. Like, have it and use less than 10% of it and be disciplined. Like, I had no discipline in college. Like, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I got all this money. Like,
No, like I was in the store today and an older lady, she dropped her credit card. And I was like, oh, ma'am, you dropped your credit card. She said, don't worry about it. Whoever it is, they'll probably give it back to me because ain't nothing on it. Nothing left on it. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, it takes all kinds of, and, you know, a lot of us, we just don't. We get the money and we spend it and we don't want to pay you back.
But you know, the thing
right.
about that, but the thing people need to know about that part is what Tynia was just saying is that
Mhm.
some credit card companies will let a charge go through even though your card is maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
They will accept the payment. Say somebody charged them, they will accept it even though the card is maxed out, especially if you got a history of paying your bill on time.
Mm-hmm.
So be leery of them still, even if it's maxed out.
Well,
treat it
that's what I
like
told her. I
gold.
said, you can still somebody could, yeah. So
Yeah,
I pick it up and make
but
sure.
your the credit thing, that's been a popular one.
Oh yeah.
Has it? I've
Oh,
definitely
oh, that's been a popular one.
important.
It's been
It's
popular.
a lot of people that are becoming more aware of it now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a trend now is credit. You see a lot of credit repair companies popping up.
Oh yes.
A lot of people talking about credit on social media. It's real popular right now.
Yeah.
I hope it stays that way because it is important. I feel like a lot of people take it for granted.
Yeah, ask our little producer. She's another one. She had she stresses credit too.
Yeah. Right. So yeah,
but I've always stressed that with my kids too.
Right. That's a big one though.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm telling you.
And you know, a lot of people ruin their kids' credit before the kids were old enough to even know
There
what
you
credit
go,
were.
too.
Getting credit cards in their names when they were little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, because when they started that whole thing about you got to have a social security card, well, that's another way to get credit.
Yeah.
For somebody that don't know nothing about it.
Yep.
And then you get up and you find out you got $30,000 in debt, and you just in junior high school or middle school, as they say.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big one. So the takeaway is that it's important.
Yes, very important.
Too many people have that as a thing they wish their parents had prepared them for. So it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one young lady who said her mother made her think that it was okay to spend because she said she did it.
A lot of people are uneducated about it. They don't know how to talk about it, or they don't know about it. So, and their whole thing is you could just file bankruptcy. And I that's what happened with me. I actually my car got repoed right after I had Bella, because you know I was behind on my bills, so it was either pay this car note or pay rent and get it, or you know not pay rent. You know what I'm saying? So it was between the car and the rent. So my car got repoed December 2018, and I was devastated because I'm, you know, at this time I'm learning about credit, and I'm like, oh, credit is important. I want to buy my kids a house. I'm like, I can't buy my kids a house with a repo on my credit report. Like, I'm like, so my mom's like, well, just file bankruptcy. I'm like, well, that means then I can't buy a house for 7 years. I said, I gotta get out of this place. I can't stay here for 7 years. I'm like, and I don't want to pay no more in rent than what I'm paying, because rent is expensive in Michigan. And I'm like, I don't want to pay more than this. I'm like, we're gonna outgrow this in 7 years. I can't stay in this for 7 years. It's like, people just file bankruptcy. I'm like, no, Mom, I can't do that. And I didn't. I listened, and I to myself and God, I did not file bankruptcy. And I turned my credit score around. My credit score was 540, I want to say, in December 2018. And August of this year, my credit score was 715.
All right.
And I got the repo charged off, and so it doesn't look like a repo on my credit report anymore. It's like a charged off account. So I listened to God. If I would have got that bankruptcy for no reason, it would have been stuck with it for 7 years.
Right. What it goes to show though is that one thing that we don't like to do is when we make a mistake, we don't like to own up to the mistake, and we don't like to pay our debt on the mistake. We like to take the easy way out and make it look like we didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And that's what all these people charging, taking these bankruptcies are. They taking the easy way out. If you bought the stuff, so now work your way out of it. And you'll feel. And the thing about it is, you'll feel better on the other side of it, because you know that you can do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's good. Congratulations. Kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah. Even when you mention you're homeless and all that stuff, you have come a long way, Taylor. Praise God. Yes. Yes. People need to hear your story.
Right. So what's next for you?
So I'm hoping, so I had somebody reach out to me not too long ago, and they said that I should bring my cleaning company to Miami. I don't know about bringing my cleaning company to Miami, but I have thought about branching out to other states, mainly because it's more money everywhere else. Like, a lot of people here, they're cheap. I want to go where the celebrities are and they have money to spend. So I want to bring a trustworthy, reliable cleaning business to other states. So I will be branching out around the U.S. I've had quite a few people in Georgia that want me to come down there. So I'm working on getting Taylor's Touch fully operational without me here. So then I can go and open up shop other places, which is why I'm so glad Micah is back. Because if I had to trust anybody to leave my company with, it would definitely be her. Okay. I really wish I could pay her more. It's coming. It sure
is. It sure is.
I told her today, I said, I want to be able to pay you $15 to $18 an hour. I mean, I pay her 13 now, but 18 is coming, sis. I know you watching.
And more. That's right. We don't know.
I want her to be my manager, my overseer of Michigan. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to branch off within the next couple years before I hit my 10-year mark. So
that's right. Don't limit God now. Don't limit God.
I'm not limiting. I'm trying to take Taylor's Touch everywhere.
Yes.
All right. There you go. And that's a good plan. That's a good plan. And right. But the biggest deal, and you know what you said, it is that you got to have somebody that you can trust to make sure what you have now doesn't get ruined while you're trying to make it better. There's nothing like having somebody that you can trust to handle that business. And I'm sure God will make a way for you to be able to do that.
Yes. Her and my cousin, when I was sick last week, they went to a client, and this client is very anal. Michael used to clean their house for me before she went on maternity leave, and she knew how anal they were, and I trusted her and my cousin to go. I was nervous. I'm not even gonna hold you up. I was nervous. I was at home, legs shaking, like, Lord, please let them do everything right. And they texted me the next day, like, this is the best we've ever seen the house. And I was so thankful, because Micah texted me later that night, like, hey, did she text back and say how the house was? Because I made sure we got every corner. Like, I know how they are. And they were very grateful. So I can trust my business with Micah for sure.
All right.
Wonderful.
Good. That's beautiful.
So on your bio, you also said that you were going back to school to get your MSW and stuff.
I am. So hopefully within a year and a half, I can go back and get my MSW. My place has a company right now that's working with the school districts and creating IEPs and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that once I do get my MSW, I can work with her for a little while. That'll help me to get some extra income in. So when I do decide to move, branch out, I'll have the overhead to do those things.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nothing like a plan.
Yeah.
And nothing like working your plan.
And helping these children, because our children are really going through something now.
They are.
All right. So, you got anything else for her?
No, that was about it. I'm just I'm just so elated, though. I'm just saying, your passion is just overwhelming. And you said that you were inspired by Bella
I-
pushed you forward.
She did push me forward. Bella actually, because I was working my business before her,
Mm-hmm.
but she really sent home. She helped me more than just financially. She just helped me be a better person overall. She helped me realize how much I was slacking with DJ. And mainly because I just feel like girls need that role model from their mothers and,
Yes.
look more so like to their dads. So I was really just, in my mind, like, oh, well, DJ could get it from his dad. I don't have to he not looking up to me. He really was looking up to me though. But in my mind, I'm like, he's looking up to his dad. But then when I got pregnant with Bella, I'm like, I'm about to have a girl. I need to fix some things. I started going to therapy. I'm like, I keep passing down these generational curses because mothers typically pass those down to their daughters. They, if they were talked bad to, they're going to talk bad to their daughters. Like if they were critical, or if their mothers were critical of them, they're going to be critical to their daughters. So I just wanted to stop those generational curses. I wanted it to end with me. So I started going to therapy so that I could be a better person for Bella. And in turn, it changed me everywhere, like spiritually, as an entrepreneur, as a friend. It's helped me to grow in so many different ways. So
yeah, that's another thing we have a problem with, going to speak to somebody when we need it.
Yeah, it's important. It's really, really important. And I even said it in some of my inspirational posts.
Yes.
Like, it's really therapy is okay. It's okay to talk to somebody. And it's a really big stigma in the Black community. But white people go talk to therapists all the time. They go all
other people, yes.
Because it's needed. It's needed. Yeah. You shouldn't have to keep all that in your head. You could get it out and you could talk to somebody.
Well, that's why we have such high instances of hypertension.
Yeah.
And suicide is increasing amongst our young people.
And if they tell your business, you can sue them because they're not supposed to. So go ahead and talk. That's your best friend that your secret's not going to get out to.
Well, the thing about it is somebody already know it anyway.
That's true.
they already know.
That is true.
Yeah, we get hung up on keeping secrets, but people already know.
Already know. They can already see it.
Right. There's no way you done been through something and somebody else don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we
gotta break that stigma.
You gotta break it.
Wonderful. And you've done a good job of it. You went and took all the needed steps that you needed to do.
I did.
Pressed forward toward that mark.
It was rough.
It is. Hey, the Lord didn't say it was going to be easy, did he?
He did not. He just
like you said, it's just like the people with college degrees. If you put forth that effort, you don't have to be an A student. Just get the degree. Do what is necessary to get the degree, and you can move from there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So and I think I told you this before. My cousins used to attend that church too.
Hope.
Yeah.
I think that we
on Facebook.
Yeah, I found out that I didn't know that was your cousin. We actually have a lot of mutual friends that I'm like, wow, we got a lot of mutual people that we know, but I think a lot of them came from Hope.
Yeah, well, I got cousins all over the place. And they go to churches all over everywhere. And matter of fact, because I'm trying to remember, I know you know Tony.
Yes.
Not Tony. Yeah. Hassan is the song that we play for our intro now is his song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've known him since I was younger. Like my Hassan, they used to be friends with my mom. I don't know. I'm sure they're still cordial. But they used to actually hang out when I was younger. So.
Oh, okay. And you know Mary too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, right. This getting smaller and smaller, even in the podcast world.
Yeah, she's I was younger too. I think she's referred a few people to me as well.
Okay. Yeah. That's them's my family, and they are very close.
Well, they're people.
Yeah, they are. They are real good people. So, anything else that you want to share with the folks that you haven't shared to this point?
Be easy with yourself. We're in a horrible time right now, but we're gonna make it through it, and we're gonna see the light at the end of this storm. I don't know when it's gonna end, but we're gonna see it. So just be easy. Stop comparing yourself to others. Walk in your own lane. Get closer to God if you haven't. And and just be easy on yourself.
Oh, those are some good tips.
Good
Like you said,
words.
I'm always finding myself giving me some grace too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can't do everything, and I gotta know my limits.
Well,
Yep.
yeah. The
Mhm.
sooner we realize that, the better off we'll be.
Mhm.
You know, you just can't beat yourself up every time something doesn't go the way you think it should go.
Right.
And if we would just,
And it's so funny because sometimes when what we think is a failure in our plans is actually the victory that we needed.
Yep. Or it was something that we didn't need to go down that road. You
No.
thinking you failed, and you ain't even need to go down there because it looked green on one side, but that other side,
Right.
it's
Right.
yeah,
That's what the failure was down that road that you didn't get
Yep.
to go down. Yeah, without a
Yep.
doubt.
Mhm.
Well, Taylor, we thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I know that you keep that tenacity that you got going, and everything's gonna be all right for you.
Yes.
You made it this far. As long as you keep working it and lifting God up, you will be all right.
Mhm.
Thank you. I
That's
believe
the
that.
key right there, God. That's
It
the
is.
key right there.
Yeah.
It is.
So is there, I mean, how can they, if somebody wants their home clean?
So I have a website. You can
Okay.
you can go on my website. It's www.taylorstouchcleaning.com. So that's www.taylorstouchcleaning.com.
All right.
If you go on there, you go to book now. All my pricing is on there.
Okay.
And I do organizing as well. So if people need help with organizing, and I actually am I contracted out a carpet cleaner. So me and his name is Mel. We work together with that aspect. He refers me cleaning people. I refer him carpet cleaning people. It's just, I didn't want to do it, but people keep asking me. So I'm like, let me find a reliable person with some integrity that can partner with me in that aspect. So he does a great job. So I do offer those services. I do move out, move in cleanings. I do.
Okay.
I've helped people with hoarding.
Ooh.
Gotta get ready.
Right.
You gotta be ready to get rid of some stuff, though. I can't do everything. You gotta be ready to let go.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I say. I'm about to say, yeah. Make sure you make it clear that you help them stop hoarding.
Yes, they have to be ready to let go.
Yeah, might be.
But that's one of my transformations. Like I've transformed people who were addicted to hoarding. They hoarded a lot of things, but a lot of it was real deep. Like it was some mental stuff, and we had breakthroughs, and I'm like,
wow, praise God.
Whoa. Like I ain't know I was about to do all this.
So that social work degree working out for you.
It is.
It's working out for you. Good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Well, that's good because folks need to get rid of some stuff. As I look around my office.
You're not the only one. I got some stuff I got to get rid of. I like to sleep under the rug.
I know. You like you said, you helping other people. We need to help ourselves too, don't we?
Yeah. Right. We write a book. We need to read it too. All right, Taylor. So we're gonna make sure that information gets out there. And if there's anything that you got coming up that if you get that class you want to do together and all that, let me know. Because I share stuff I have a Facebook page. It's called Things My Mother Never Told Me. That the guests that we have, I share stuff to that page as well.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
All right. And so when you want to see the replay of this, you can either look at it on Facebook, YouTube, or all the podcast sites. You can listen to it while you're driving in your car. I saw that Jeep you got.
I love my little black youth.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped blessing you. Don't worry about it.
Right,
this too shall pass.
Yeah.
All right. So you take care.
Okay, you guys as well.
All right, then.
And she'll be calling you about that thing.
Okay.
You better know it.
All right now.
All righty. See you later.
All right, then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hug them kids for me.
I will.
All right.
Oh man, she's